What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, today's topic, it's a Sunday. Let's take it nice and easy and start a controversy. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys, look, we all know this has been happening now for like about a month or so. We keep getting these reports that are linking essentially Nick Foles back to the Eagles, right? At first, we heard there could be a trade to the Chicago Bears involving Carson Wentz with Nick Foles. That turned out not to happen, mostly because some of that stuff seemed to be generated by the Eagles front office. But now we're hearing that the Eagles might try to just straight up trade for Nick Foles from the Bears. Look, they just kind of signed their guy, declared their guy in Andy Dalton. And, they still kind of have Nick Foles there. And Nick Foles has history back to the Eagles. I understand why the link is being made between the two organizations. And to be honest, I had a funny moment when I was like kind of digging into Nick Foles' play from the 2020 season. So I went to go look at PFF's like advanced analytics on him, right? And in terms of his passer rating, he came in tied with Kyle Allen at 33. Sorry, guys. So he's right there in a grouping with Geno Smith, Alex Smith, and Nick Foles and Kyle Allen. Probably what most people would deem to be some of the better backups in the league, right? Like your number twos. So it's a really interesting way of where he got grouped, and it kind of came out in the passer rating. The one thing I will say, guys, is I kind of dug in a little bit with Nick Foles and trying to reacquaint myself a little bit with Nick Foles because it's been a couple of years. I mean, it's not like we've completely forgot him, guys, but, it is what it is. Nick Foles, man, look, 17, big time throws on the season, it's a pretty good play rate for a guy that didn't play all 16 games. We all know that Nick Foles will take his shots down the field. He is not shy to do it. The problem is that it comes along with turnover-worthy passes. He had 11. So when you look at his turnover-worthy passes on the season, it's 3.1% of all of his throws. That's high, guys. It's a high percentage rate. Nick Foles is a risky dude. If you scheme it well, you get it open for him, he'll execute it. But he will take chances, guys, and that does reflect in the advanced analytics. But all right, guys, I'm going to give you some tangible stuff. I'm going to talk about in particulars of each game and stuff like that, and we'll get a little deeper into this discussion about Nick.
A lot of guys playing out of position up front for Chicago and taking their first shot. Miller downfield.
All right, guys, so the highest rated game that I saw from Nick Foles came in Week 9 against Tennessee. And it came off of consecutive games where Nick Foles just was not playing well. I mean, the offensive line around him wasn't good. Generalized trend here, right? And it just alludes to what we all know about Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a very streaky quarterback. When he's on his game, man, he can look like a franchise quarterback. He can definitely sit out there and start tight windowing throws on you. It's just like, man, this dude's not going to miss. He'll start hitting almost 70% of his completions on you. Like, he seems unstoppable at times. And I get it. It can definitely, there's a reason why a guy has a cult following. The problem is it's not consistent. And what I've noticed from Nick Foles is when you put him in situations where the offensive line play is not good, the scheme is not the greatest in the world, it all comes apart from Nick Foles because he doesn't have the dynamic playmaking ability outside of the pocket to supplement for that.
Backfield, he can hardly even get to the line of scrimmage without contact most of the time. Second down and 10, and Foles is going to get sacked.
And I'll give you kind of some examples here, right? You go back to the week prior to the Tennessee game, and you can see these playing, New Orleans at home, and then in week 7 he's playing, the Rams away on the road, if you will. And you can see his pressure to sack, pressure rates here are 20 to 27.8%. Guys, that's high. That's a statue back there. That's a guy that when the pressure breaks down, he's not avoiding anybody. Like, that's the problem with Nick Foles. It's why he keeps getting injured outside of Philadelphia. It helps when you got the nucleus of the team around you. You got the offensive line to keep you, clean, and you got a system and a scheme that's getting guys open. You get Nick in that situation, and Nick can be very, very good. The problem is, guys, like I just said, he's very streaky, and you can see that when you got less than ideal situations, when you got a scheme that is a little bit of a mid-developing scheme, and you can judge this by the average depth of target, guys. Like, Doug Peterson's scheme was very vertical last year. You can see that because Jalen Hurts was second, and I filter this by 100 attempts, guys. They need to have 100 attempts. Jalen Hurts was second, okay? Carson Wentz was fifth. That's a very vertical offense, obviously. Your depth of target tells you it's vertical, okay? Then if you kind of go down through some, like, some news and notes or names you should know, guys, you can take a look and you can see that you got Prescott, Foles, and Kyler Murray all tied for 23rd in an 8.3 average depth of target. It means that, like, the ball gets pushed, but it's not to the same element of like a Doug Peterson type scheme, right? Some other notes, some things to judge from, like, what's coming into Philadelphia. Justin Herbert was 31st. Okay, Phillip Rivers was tied for 32nd with Bridgewater. So we can see that there's going to be, if we judge Nick Sirianni's scheme based upon the past and him having an important role with the Colts, there's probably going to be a little bit more shorter passes here, which, if you're going to go get a guy like Nick Foles, guys, what I'm saying is look at his highest graded game, which was in Tennessee, where he kept himself fairly upright at only 15% pressure to sack ratio. That's pretty good. Or passes to sack ratio. That's good. But then you look at the bad, and you see the games like New Orleans, you see the games like, the Rams. Look, man, it's getting late in his career, guys. You've got to speed this up. You don't want this guy standing back there taking these kind of shots. Scheme matters, and I will say that Nick Sirianni's scheme, in this particular instance, guys, it makes a ton of sense to me. But let's take a look at a few more of the deeper analytics behind Nick Foles, guys.
Foles under some pressure.
All right, ladies and gents, a few things I want to bring to your attention. So this is underneath his under pressure kind of ratings here. So you can see you're looking at kept clean, under pressure, not blitzed, and when blitzed. Let's take a look at when the big time throws occurred. When he's kept clean and when he's not blitzed. I will say that when you look at his turnover worthy passes.
On 4th down, 4th and 6, Foles complete.
This guy's all over the place between being under pressure and not blitzed. Like, the guy he's a risk taker. There's no doubt about that.
3rd down and 6 as Foles looks for Robinson. He goes up in the end.
Okay, but his big time throws, pretty surprising. It's when it's coming from a clean pocket or he's not being pressured. All right, let's take a look at his pass to sack ratio, his percentage, right? When he's kept clean, no sacks. When he's under pressure, 18 sacks. When he's not blitzed, 11 sacks. I think that's more of an indication of the offensive line, to be honest, guys. 7 when he's blitzed, okay? Now let's take a look at time to throw. This is when it gets to you, right? Because look, when he's kept clean, he's getting the ball out of his hands 2.14 seconds, fast up, sped up process. That's a quick passing game, guys. But I want you to take a look at this, right? When he's blitzed, 2.18 seconds. When he sees a blitz coming, he gets the ball out of his hands, right? We can see when he's not blitzed, he's got an average time of about 2.47 seconds. That's a decent rate, guys. But look at when and this isn't very offensible. I'm not saying this is a huge offense here, guys, but when he is not under pressure, but he's getting dropped 18 times for a 15.3 sack rate, how long is he holding the ball? Almost 3 seconds, 2.86 seconds. It just seems to me to kind of further indicate the fact that when you put this guy basically under pressure, you see that he's got to hold the ball a little bit longer, right? We can see that his turnover-worthy passes to his big-time throws, 6.4% turnover-worthy passes, so he starts getting a little risky with the ball. He's getting dropped and sacked. I mean, guys, it's not good. This is not a good generalized overall trend here. You got to keep him clean, guys. That's the thing with Nick Foles. I think at this point in his career, you've got to keep Nick Foles clean or it's going to be a problem.
Pressure from Minnesota, and Foles can't get out.
All right, guys. That's what I got for y'all today, man. I'm not going to go into too crazy of a depth here about Nick Foles, guys. We kind of know who this guy is. I just wanted to bring up some underlying numbers I was seeing. Like I say, guys, if you want to see one of his better games, if you have access to Game Pass, I would go watch the Tennessee game from Week 9 of last year. That's pretty much his highest rated game. If you want to see one of his, a little bit more struggling, where you can see, go to Week 7, go to Week 8, watch that Rams game, watch games like Week 7 and Week 8, guys. That's where you're going to see Nick Foles kind of at his worst. That's going to give you the best overall kind of way of judging Nick Foles' play from the season, guys, to be quite honest. All right, guys, that's what I got for y'all today about Nick Foles. Like, look, man, this doesn't discount who he is as a locker room guy. There's so many layers to Nick Foles, right? Like, number one, you can say, yeah, he's a veteran guy. Like, we don't think that Jalen Hurts would feel the same way about him that Carson Wentz would, because it's not like Jalen Hurts was the guy that was on an MVP level, busted his knee up for the team trying to win that game and trying to solidify like home field advantage, and then has his backup come in and win. Like, there's not that connection there. You still got to judge the fan base, guys. There's guys that are completely devout and loyal to Nick Foles, guys. Like I just look, man. I don't have a say in this. Like it is what it is. I don't get a say in it, but I do wonder if this is the best option. I do wonder. He's a bit of a statue. The risk taking is still there. Yes, he can definitely get streaky. He can get hot. He can hit games if you keep him clean. I think he's a good quarterback, but I do wonder, man. I do wonder what's left in the tank. And I'll say this as an olive branch. When he came here in 2017, it looked like he was cooked. It looked like he was done. He was about to retire from football. His shoulder, he just didn't feel like he had it anymore in the shoulder. He had suffered some injuries. He didn't think he had the same velocity on the ball. Turned out he just needed a little time to actually heal the shoulder. And he got rejuvenated in Philadelphia. But now we're kind of back in the situation again where he leaves the organization and hasn't gone as planned. He's had an opportunity to be the franchise guy. Then he's had the opportunity to compete and push a young guy before. Kind of the same situation you'd be bringing him in here for right now. I don't know, guys. I mean, look, you never really know until you see the guy on the field. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to like and comment on the video, guys. That's what spikes the algorithm. That's what tells the algorithm to recommend this to other people. And with that, guys, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscription button. That's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all enjoy your Sunday, and I'll see y'all on Monday morning, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.